Staff blocked me from my stepsister's wedding. You're not on the list, she smirked from inside. I didn't argue, until the groom, my best friend, stormed out and called off the wedding right there. This morning, my inbox exploded with emails blaming me for everything. I, 32M. So, my stepsister, Bethany. We've never exactly been BFFs, but we coexisted, until her wedding day. Last Saturday. I even bought a decent suit and a gift, a proper crystal thing they'd registered for. Showed up at the venue feeling, well, not exactly happy for her, but trying to be civil. And then the clipboard lady at the entrance stops me. Name? She asks, all bored. Liam, I say. Liam Walker. I'm family. She scrolls, then gives me this flat look. Not on the list. I blinked. Excuse me? Bethany is my stepsister. Just then, Bethany breezes up, looking like she swallowed a chandelier. She glances at me, then back at the clipboard lady, and gives this tiny, smug little smile. Oh, Liam, you know how it is. We had to keep the numbers tight. Tight? The place looked like a small army could fit in there. My jaw dropped. Bethany, seriously? I'm your family. Well, she drawled, adjusting her veil. Step family. It's different. And then, the kicker, delivered with a sugary, sweet voice that could curdle milk. You weren't really involved in the planning, were you? Before I could even sputter, she turned and sashayed inside. The clipboard lady just shrugged at me like I was yesterday's trash. I stood there for a minute feeling like a right mug. Humiliation washed over me. But then something else started to simmer. Cold, hard fury. I didn't yell, didn't make a scene, just nodded slowly to myself. All right, I muttered. All right then. What they didn't know was that the groom, Ethan, was my best mate since kindergarten. We'd been through everything together. So I did the only logical thing. I called him. Hey man, big day. I tried to sound normal. Yeah, mate, hectic, he said, sounding a bit stressed. Listen, I said, keeping my voice even. There's been a bit of a misunderstanding at the door. Apparently, I'm not on the guest list. There was a beat of silence. Then, what the actual Hold on, I'll be right there. And he was. Stormed out in his full wedding getup, looking like he wanted to punch someone. Liam, what's going on? I explained, calmly, what had happened. Bethany's little smirk, the clipboard lady, the whole shebang. Ethan's face went from confused to thunderous. He pulled out his phone, his fingers flying across the screen. I could hear snippets of a very one-sided conversation. What the hell, Bethany? My best friend? Uninvited? No, don't give me that crap. You know what? Forget it. He hung up, his jaw tight. He looked at me, a mix of anger and disbelief in his eyes. Mate, he said, his voice low and serious. This isn't right. Not at all. He took a deep breath. This wedding, it's off. My eyes widened. Ethan, are you serious? He nodded, resolute. Yeah. If she treats my best friend like this on our wedding day, what's the rest of our life going to be like? Come on, let's get out of here. And just like that, the groom walked out on his own wedding. With me. This morning, my inbox is a dumpster fire. Emails from Bethany, her mom, even some of her clueless bridesmaids, all blaming me for ruining her perfect day. Apparently, I should have just sucked it up and not caused drama. Drama? I wasn't the one uninviting family. The entitlement is astounding. Oh, but this is just the beginning. They messed with the wrong guy. I don't do shouting matches or public meltdowns. I do consequences. And trust me, they're going to learn all about them. Update 1. The fallout begins 2 days later. Okay, so the email brigade has been relentless. Bethany's mom, Carol, sent me a novel about how I've always been jealous of Bethany and how I deliberately sabotaged her happiness. Apparently, Ethan was just stressed and would have come to his senses if I hadn't poisoned his mind. Right. like Ethan doesn't have a mind of his own. Bethany herself sent a string of angry texts, full of caps lock and crying emojis. Accused me of being a bitter, lonely loser who can't stand to see others happy. The irony is thicker than treacle. But the real kicker? This morning, I got a call from Ethan. He sounded lighter. "Hey man," he said. "Just wanted to say thanks. You actually saved me. Turns out Bethany's been, well, let's just say this isn't the first time she's pulled entitled crap like this. My family always kind of hinted at it, but I was too loved up to see it. This was the wake-up call I needed." Apparently, after Ethan called off the wedding, a few things came to light. Some vendors were owed money that Bethany hadn't paid, claiming they were doing it for exposure. One of her bridesmaids confessed that Bethany had been bad-mouthing Ethan's family behind his back. The whole perfect facade was crumbling. Ethan's now staying at my place for a bit. He's hurting, yeah, but also seems relieved? Like a weight has been lifted. We've been talking, just two mates hanging out, playing video games and ordering takeout. It's a far cry from the lavish honeymoon he was supposed to be on. Meanwhile, Bethany's camp is doubling down on the blame game. Carol has started calling my work, leaving increasingly unhinged voicemails. One even involved her dramatically sobbing about the cost of the non-refundable venue deposit. "Not my problem, Carol. Maybe your precious daughter should have considered the feelings of her stepfamily before pulling her little stunt." The best part? A mutual friend of ours and Ethan's, a guy named Raj, was also at the wedding. He was on Bethany's VIP list, apparently. He saw the whole thing go down and is absolutely Team Liam. He's been feeding me intel, little snippets of the chaos Bethany and Carol are causing as they try to salvage the situation, mostly by bad-mouthing me and Ethan to anyone who will listen. They think they can just bully their way back into happiness. They think a few angry emails and phone calls will make me feel guilty. They have no idea what's coming. My plan is in motion. It's slow, it's methodical, and it's going to hit them where it hurts the most. Their precious image and their comfortable little bubble of entitlement. Stay tuned, folks. The game is on. Update 2. 1 week later. Things have escalated beautifully. Bethany and Carol are now in full-blown panic mode. Apparently, word has spread about the wedding fiasco, and not in the way they intended. Raj has been a superstar, subtly dropping truth bombs within their social circle. Suddenly, Bethany's tight guest list looks less like careful planning and more like a deliberate snub. People are starting to see her and Carol's entitlement for what it is. The venue, surprisingly, is suing Bethany for breach of contract. Turns out, her exposure offers didn't exactly cut it. Carol has been frantically calling everyone she knows, trying to get them to pressure the venue to back down, painting me as the villain who orchestrated the whole thing. It's almost comical to watch their desperation. My part? I've been quiet, letting them dig their own grave. But I haven't been idle. Remember that crystal thing they registered for? The really expensive one? Yeah, I gifted it to Ethan. He keeps it on his desk now, a shiny reminder of the bullet he dodged. Then there's the matter of the wedding photos. Bethany had hired a top-notch photographer, a real artist. They posted a few sneak peeks online before the big day. Guess who politely DM'd the photographer, explaining the situation and mentioning the groom called off the wedding due to the bride's behavior? The photographer, being a decent human being with a sense of fairness, has since removed all the photos. Bethany's perfect wedding album? Gone. Vanished into the digital ether. The entitled wailing has reached a fever pitch. Carol even showed up at my doorstep yesterday, unannounced, mascara running down her face, begging me to talk to Ethan and convince him to reconsider. She actually had the audacity to say that I was ruining Bethany's life out of spite. Spite? Lady, your daughter publicly humiliated me. This isn't spite. It's a natural consequence of her actions. I calmly told her to leave and that Ethan makes his own decisions. Bethany, meanwhile, has resorted to social media meltdowns, posting vague, woe-is-me statuses about how her so-called family ruined her special day. The comments section, however, is a mixed bag. Some of her blindly loyal friends are offering support, but others, thanks to Raj's subtle campaigning, are asking pointed questions about why the groom called off the wedding. The cracks in her perfect facade are widening. And Ethan? He's doing surprisingly well. He's started seeing a therapist, and he's realized that Bethany's behavior was just the tip of the iceberg. He's spending time with his family, who are incredibly supportive, and reconnecting with old friends. He even joked the other day that he's now accepting applications for a best man who isn't likely to cause a wedding to implode. They wanted to erase me? Fine. I'll erase their perfect little fantasy. The truth is a powerful weapon, and entitlement is a glaring weakness. They're learning that the hard way. The final act is approaching. Final update. Justice served, 1 month later. The dust has settled, and let me tell you, it's been satisfying. Bethany and Carol's world has officially imploded. The lawsuit from the venue went through. Bethany had to cough up a significant amount for breach of contract. Carol tried to intervene, even threatening legal action against the venue, bless her delusional heart. But they weren't having any of it. Apparently, Bethany had signed the contract herself, and her mother's tantrums held no legal weight. The photographer, being the legend they are, not only deleted the photos, but also publicly shared a vague post about the importance of treating everyone with respect, especially on important occasions. While not naming names, anyone who followed the drama knew exactly who they were talking about. Bethany's attempts to find another photographer to recreate the day have been met with either exorbitant quotes or flat-out refusals once they hear what happened. Her perfect wedding memories? Officially non-existent. Socially, the fallout has been brutal. Raj continued his subtle campaign, and more people have come to realize Bethany's entitled behavior. Several of her bridesmaids have distanced themselves, some even apologizing to Ethan for not seeing it sooner. The whispers and side-eyes in their social circles are palpable. Bethany and Carol now get the cold shoulder at most gatherings. Their reputation as the perfect family is shattered. Ethan is thriving. He's moved into his own place, started a new hobby, and is genuinely happy. He's even started dating someone new, someone who, get this, actually asked about his friends and family. Imagine that. As for me, life is normal. The constant anxiety of their drama has faded. I still see Ethan regularly, and we laugh about the whole ridiculous saga. I even ran into one of Bethany's former bridesmaids at a coffee shop a few weeks ago. She actually apologized for Bethany's behavior and admitted that a lot of them had always found her entitled but were too afraid to say anything. Validation? You could say that. Bethany and Carol, last I heard through the grapevine, are still blaming everyone but themselves. Carol is convinced I've ruined their lives and occasionally sends me passive-aggressive messages. Bethany's social media is now a wasteland of self-pity and vague accusations. They haven't learned a thing, but honestly, their opinions no longer hold any weight. I didn't go out for revenge with some grand, evil plan. I simply let their own entitled actions have their natural consequences. I stood my ground, and Ethan, a good man, did the same. Sometimes, the best way to deal with entitled people is to step back and let the weight of their own awfulness crush them, and in this case, justice, served ice cold with a side of schadenfreude. I wouldn't have it any other way.